Hi, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. I have with me tonight Manny Cabo, and it probably will take about 20 minutes to unpack a title. Musician, singer-songwriter, a teacher, peace and love, and you. By the way, you speak 3 languages: Italian, Spanish, conversational. You know, it's there's so much to you. Manny, take it away and do a little bio and tell folks a little bit about
That's a
you.
lot of fanfare for just a bald guy and glasses, trust me. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Calvin. You know, we have our history and we've done these before. And I was telling you, as we alluded to before, you know, we've done our little sprints. Let's just go for the marathon. So thank you for having me on here, man.
My pleasure. So there's so much to you. How did your artistic career begin as both a singer and a photographer? You know,
Yeah, and, you know, it's a great question. I guess, you know, well, not to sound pretentious, but I guess I was born with it, you know, starting at a young age, surrounded my house with music. My parents, they fed me this steady dose of, you know, Hispanic folk music, Motown, the Beatles, classic rock. I learned to listen to all types of genres, and it has helped me immensely now as a vocal producer and producing my own music. And I remember even going back, now this is the photography side, that was just the music, but 5th grade, I directed my first play.
wow.
You know, it was Halloween. I was a big horror movie buff, thanks to my mom. And I just, for some reason, the arts always drew me in. And then it was this effortless affinity that I had, whether it was looking at magazines or watching movies or listening to music or acting. It was just something that was instilled in me, and I just cultivated it as the years elapsed.
By the way, I should tell everybody you're in Nashville now.
I am, yeah.
Which is
I drove down here for 13 hours.
Yep, this is huge. I'm in New Jersey. Boom. So if you had to choose between one or the other, is there one that you lean to? You know, the music, the photography?
Oh, that's such an unfair question, you know, but I get asked that all the time. I think that I don't have a preference. I put 100% in everything that I do. I know they say that you can't do that. You got to, you know, go 100% on one and forget the others. I don't believe in that. I believe that if there's something that you have a passion for, and for me, it's photography and music, I could do them both equally. The key is managing your time properly. That's the key for me. And I've been able to master that over the years because, you know, there's been a heavy and onslaught of different type of jobs. There's a lot of diversity with what I do, and with photography jobs and requiring more of a visual side, whereas music is more audible and, you know, listening to music, more lyrical. But I think what's helped me with both, I'm able to bridge the gap with musicians, you know, working with record labels and magazines. And as an artist myself, I know what they need. And one of the reasons why I came to Nashville over 3 years ago, you know, 4 months, I came down here with almost $400 in my pocket. It turned to 16 months because I became so busy with the photography. And I found a niche down here. People were looking for that New York quote unquote edge with the country musicians down here. And here I am, you know, 2 years later, doing 13 shoots in almost 14 days. And as a matter of fact, today I just had one here, and I'm hastening to get down here to do an interview with the Calvin Schwartz, you know. So, you know, it's what I do. I'm really grateful for the work, especially during this pandemic where everything, you know, ceased for so long, and, you know, it was capricious at best. We didn't know what was going to happen, but fortunately here in Nashville, you know, the musicians are still here. They're still, you know, pursuing their dreams, and, you know, dreams have to be met. And I do my part with the visuals, you know, and of course, while I'm down here, I'm also recording 3 songs. So I'm managing my time wisely. You know, I can't help myself.
Good. A little segue. So what do you enjoy most?
I love them both, Calvin. I do. But if I really had to, I think from a work standpoint, you know, I'd probably choose singing. There's a lot of work that goes into singing, you know, getting ready for your performances, vocal techniques and all that stuff. But photography is a lot of work, and after I'm done with a photo shoot, I'm drained because again, I give it my all, and I go in there with just this visual storyboard of different stories for each artist and location. So by the time I'm done, I am mentally drained. So if I did have to choose one, I would probably say singing. Singing is a little bit less of a workload.
Okay. You know, the time I've known you, you have always amazed me. I call it as I see it. You're just one of the most positive human beings I've ever met. So, what energy, what pool, what keeps you so positive? Sometimes it's tough to be positive.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Well, that's just it because there's so much negativity in the world, and I choose not to be that which I loathe the most. You know, there's always a person that you could smile at. There's always somebody that you can still a sense of hope, you know, and some sort of clarity. And I know I've gone through it. I've gone through some serious hardships. And I know we all have our trials and tribulations, but I've been an underdog since before I was born. You know, the parents told my parents, you can't have this kid. You need to abort this kid. He's going to come out deformed or whatever the case may be. So
Wow.
I've been fighting since day one, even before, you know, and I've been bullied. I've had people take microphones and dump them in water. I have had people steal my cameras. And and so that type of negative energy, I felt that, wait a second, there's something missing in this world. You know, there's so much insecurity in people. And I've felt it, but the only difference between me and other people that I encounter is I have a lot more bullets in my belt, you know, from experiences
Hmm.
and from dealing with them from my own personal standpoint, that I made it a point that I'm going to utilize and implement all of my skills visually, you know, vocally, creatively, to assist, to inspire, to educate as many people as I encounter, you know, until the day that I no longer can, you know. And the difference between me is if I have to give up my life to do that, you know, the Martin Luther Kings and the John Lennons, these people lost their lives because they believed in love and peace, then so be it. Because I think my power lies in my approach to the positivity, and my voice and my visual creative side allows me to do that. You know, it allows me to show the world. And music is an international language. What better way to communicate with people than through music, and photography through pictures? I mean, I
Wow.
remember growing up as a kid, I used to look through magazines and be fascinated, whether it's National Geographic or you know, Sports Illustrated. Iconic images is something that always stuck with me. And I remember feeling so passionate, and these images and or songs would affect me in such a way. And I'm like, I want to do that. I want to affect people, but on a daily basis. So I took it upon myself to become very well versed in books, you know, from Deepak Chopra, uh, um, Napoleon Hills, you know, there's so many books out there. Miguel Ruiz. I could sit here all day and recite books that have assisted me along my journeys. And I'm basically just a walking sponge of information that I've acquired and trying to make it easy and help people sidestep the hardships that I've encountered in my life. And you know, that's basically how I go about my day. And every time I think of I'm feeling down, I don't run away from it, Calvin. You can't just sit here and no, I am not depressed, or I'm not sad, or I'm not angry. I feel it. But what I do is I slow down my mind, you know, I go and meditate, quiet my mind, and realize, hey, listen, I refuse to let anything disrupt my peace of mind, you know, and I got to get back on track because the world needs me right now. And some people may think, well, you know, it's a far-fetched concept, or you're putting way too much responsibility, but is it really though? You know, there's so much negative news. You know, the media will filter all this negativity
Hmm.
so easly, you know, from
You're
article to
amazing.
article.
You know, I could, you know, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and we structured this beforehand that we're going to do something and have you back and create. Well,
Sure,
it's true to create something.
sure. I would love to.
Real fast. Before I leave
Yeah,
this earth, before I leave this earth, I won't be happy until I blank. And we only
yeah.
have about 10 seconds left.
Before I leave this earth, I
I
won't
won't be
be
happy
happy
until I blank.
until I leave people with the hope that there's always something better out there.
Well,
There's always the possibility of love. That's it, because love always wins. That's it.
that is a great way to wrap Everybody who's watching this will be able to see your new singles. We'll have that information out there.
Awesome.
And I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Oh no,
Manny.
pleasure's
This
all
was
mine.
great. To be continued. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you.